Hey Gemini, I did your reading last night, and to be honest, I was a little tipsy, so I don't know that that's necessarily the best way to do a reading. So I'm going to redo it. And I'll start out by saying for Scorpio season, I'm doing fairy tale readings. So I'm using this novelty deck from the Spirit Halloween store. I'm using my Writer's Emergency Pack because I figure if we're telling your fairy tale story, then we can either look at how to rewrite it or see your story in a different way. And then I'm using this Lost Commandments Oracle deck, 32 Ways to Save Your Soul. We'll try to save your soul, Gemini. And this is by a local artist in my community named Udi Harma. So I will talk about kind of what came up in the initial reading I did for you, which was I pulled the Justice card. And if I find her, I'll pull her out for you again. But it really felt like your initial reading was about justice. And it was about you getting to a breaking point where there's some part of your soul that can't abide by what's happening right now anymore. And so you are going to be creating justice for yourself, but with the other cards that came out, it kind of felt like almost like your emotions were starting to own you a little bit, where you were acting out of it was kind of like a breaking point where you were surprising yourself, where like so the example I gave was like this repressed emotion, because it was a repressed emotion that like was overcoming you, so that like you yeah, and oh dude, it came out again. Yeah, because I got this for you the first time, and it was the moon werewolf, so it was kind of about how like there might be this like anger or resentment or something where it just comes out all at once because you've not been saying something for so long that you catch yourself by surprise by being like, whoa, where did that come from? Like, I can't believe I like blew up at that person, or I can't believe I got upset over such a small thing type of thing, or I can't believe that was my brain. It's like the straw that broke the camel's back was kind of the vibe of your reading. And like the Justice card was involved. And this time I pulled the Tower Gargoyle, which I did not pull for you last time. So I think like what's coming up for you is pretty much the same, but I'll try to be less drunk this time and more like grounded in my energy myself as I'm delivering this message to you. So I think it's just really important for you, Gemini, to be aware that there is some point in your life that needs change, and that Tower coming down is absolutely the change that your soul needs and that you know you need. And it's probably been, I'm going to give you the Justice card again, because it's like, it's a thing in your life that's been going on for so long that it's maybe become a status quo, and it kind of feels like something that would never end, because you've kind of like become accepting of the situation as it is, and you kind of feel like a part of you feels like maybe you've made peace with whatever it is that's happening. So like, for example, if this is a job you hate, maybe you're like, oh, I'm stuck here, so like I'm gonna make the best of it. But this isn't really part of your path in your life, and this change does need to happen. And so things are gonna change, I think, for you in November. Like, I really get this strong sense that like this is a breaking point month. And again, with the moon, I feel like, especially with like this werewolf energy, I just feel like there is a potential risk of, and risk as in, and what okay, so yeah, I guess it's just like how it happens, how the tower crumbles. This is gonna happen. It's meant to happen so you can have this justice, so you can be free, so you can get balanced, so you can kind of like be living your best life and not be trapped or like oppressed by like these other circumstances that are totally unfair. But the change is scary, so maybe you've been kind of like repressing your emotions or holding the status quo in place because, you know, you don't want to rock the boat, but the boat is on choppy waters anyway. And so I feel like for you, in the original video I did, I was talking about how it's very important for you to be as mindful as you can be about your own inner truth, your own emotions, and the validity of your emotions, because your anger that you might have, for example, is super valid, I'm sure, but it's like you probably, I imagine, want to be in control of your anger enough that you were acting from conscious enough places that you're not creating problems for yourself. The tower, when it comes down, it can be, you know, how is it coming down? And like, are you standing right under the tower as it's all crumbling down so that you can become injured by it? Can you become injured by your own? It doesn't really matter, because ultimately this is about justice for you, but I guess it's just like, I feel like with this Five of Wands in reverse, and we got the Emperor Sphinx, we have the Queen of Pentacles Dryad. It's like, how do you embrace change in such a way where you're still kind of the captain of your ship, even if you're on these rocky waters, and if you know that the rocky waters are coming, if it's like kind of like you got the forecast and you're like, okay, we're going to go through a storm, then how can you prepare for the storm? How can you like put life vests on your boat? How can you stock up like cans of beans or whatever? I don't know. I'm just saying that's a metaphor. I guess I mean, like, how can you kind of account, like, maybe this means journaling, for example, or writing a letter. Like, if this is a fight that you anticipate with someone because it's been going on for too long, and, like, you know something needs to be said, then maybe, like, it's about writing it out in advance, like, dear so-and-so, or, like, writing, like, the angriest fucking letter that you want to write, and, like, purging it and then burning it. You know what I mean? Like, I think that you have all this energy, and it's all super valid and all super, like, justified, justice. But my goal for you as a reader is just to help you get to a place where when this tower moment comes, you can get through this tower moment with as much grace as possible, so that, like, this next chapter of your life can start on as beautiful of a foot as it can. So an example I think I used in the last video is, like, in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Oz is a werewolf. That doesn't mean he's a bad person, but, like, at the full moon, he's gonna go on a rampage and maybe kill people, so he willingly goes into a cage to be kind of monitored so that his wild energy, like, this stuff that's, like, all pent up and, like, gets unleashed, doesn't, like, hurt others as much. And with the Five of Wands in reverse, I just, again, feel like there's kind of, it's like your wild instincts are coming out, and, like, they're beautiful, and, like, this, like, rage that you have is beautiful, and I'm not against any of it, but just wanting to make sure that you don't end up, like, hurting yourself, or I don't even necessarily care if you hurt someone else so much as I care about, like, you hurting someone else will still be you hurting yourself. You know, it's like the consequences of whatever the situation is. I think that you're a beast, Gemini. You are, and it's cool. It's cool that you have these deep feelings. It's cool that you know that there's, like, a truth that's been, like, unmet in your life. It's cool that, like, the change is coming, and that the time is here for you to kind of, like, answer these riddles in your life and take down the patriarchy or something, whatever. It is a time to embrace power, but it's like, how do you wield that power? That's kind of what my reading is for you. How do you wield your power in such a way where you're not going to be beating yourself up. Like, so the example I think I used another example I used was I am working on a group project and these people were being like really fucking annoying. And then I basically told them as much in not so many words, but I was just like, this is really fucking frustrating. And then they got all defensive. And so I was like, okay, so several things are true here. I'm not wrong. I'm right to speak up for myself. But the way I'm communicating to these people, they can't hear me. And I'm creating a problem for myself ultimately because it's like not that I have to even like them or get along with them as much as I have to get through this experience with them. So if I'm giving them more ammo to think I'm unreasonable too, it's not about me being unreasonable or about me wanting them to like me or about that, but it's just I'm one of the lessons I'm learning is how to keep my cards close to my chest, right? I don't need to show them everything that I'm looking at. But what I was doing, I was like, look at these cards, look at this truth, blah, blah, blah. Tarot cards are a bad example for this particular part, but if it were poker, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, you're not keeping your cards close to your chest for their benefit, and you're not keeping your emotions in check for their benefit. You're channeling your energy and your anger for your own protection so that you can kind of navigate your life in such a way where this tower moment can be graceful and easy and you can leave the debris behind without having the debris knock down your house or something like that. You know what I mean? I think that's really important for you, Gemini, is to honor and acknowledge your anger and to know that you're valid and to know that this is a breaking point that requires justice, to be very aware that this has been going on for so long that you might have a tendency at this point to lash out or act out, but to not be afraid of your power, but to just wield it. And this Queen of Pentacles, this tree, to kind of find some, I don't even want to say find peace per se, but find a little Zen mastery over how you enact it. So I think another example I said before was the Karate Kid. I think when he's first learning, his instinct is to go after the bullies and get in a fight right away and go fuck you, blah blah blah. But then he's vulnerable in his anger and in his acting out without a plan. He's vulnerable and it becomes harder to fight the fight. But when he learns to get all zen and do the wash on wash off thing, and when he fights them in kind of a controlled setting where he also has kind of a sense of his own self, then he's able to win much more effectively. So this is all about you winning, Gemini, but I guess it's just about you winning in such a way that you can get through whatever this battle is, or this truth, or enacting this justice, where you rise out. I think either way you're going to rise out on top. Even if your emotions do kind of overcome you and surprise you and get crazy, it'll be fine. The tower will happen, and either way this is good. Even if this thing fucking blows up everywhere and is a huge mess, it's still the deed was done. Still this justice has been achieved. But I guess since we're doing a tarot reading, it's preparing for the battle. Why not? If you know the battle's coming and you know that your emotions are kind of reaching a peak point, then I think it's cool to be able to get ahead of it. Get a little. So I got Stack of Needles here. Great. So too much can be worse than too little. Overwhelm your hero with more than she can handle. Whatever you need, sometimes you can get way too much of it. So the example is give the detective 6,000 clues, give the sad sack 40 dates. How heroes handle success can be as illuminating as how they handle failure. Are they gracious, vindictive? Can they make the transition from rebel to king? Irony shines a spotlight on the struggle of life. You may be dying of thirst, but with a few bad decisions you can drown in the desert. So I think that kind of like speaks to what I've been talking about of like, yes, but like, can too much justice be a bad thing? And again, it's not about the right or wrong of it. It's about like kind of how effective that is. As I was talking about the example where I got all riled, like I got like kind of like just pissed off and like spoke out. It just made me weaker. Not because I was wrong, but because it allowed them to color me as like just a crazy bitch. And it doesn't matter that they think, it's like not about my, like, oh no, they think I'm a crazy bitch, that hurts my feeling. It's not like that. It's just like that diminishes my power. Power is sometimes not just about your strength, but about the effectiveness of your strength. So I think really this is about harnessing what's going on, harnessing your truth. Because I think that this, ultimately, this tower moment is about a lot of truth that you have to share with someone. Maybe a partner, maybe a work situation, but whatever it is, I feel like that's really my message for you. So go get your justice, girl, you know, like, don't hold back, but think about what the best, most effective way to communicate that is. And then at the same time, find a way to honor your anger and then give it space. So instead of repressing it, maybe like kickboxing or something, or again, like maybe writing an angry letter and burning it, and like being as vicious as you want in the letter that you'll never send, but like going for it, you know, like it's like you're a pressure cooker, like let the steam out, but find ways to let the steam out so that you, when the time for battle comes, you know, like, because I think that when we're too controlled by our emotions, then we just can, yeah, it's just like, I think sometimes the emotions can, it's like a boomerang, they can like hurt us. And it's not like about, again, the good or badness of it. It's just about you looking out for yourself in such a way that you can move forward in your life. And move forward, like, maybe without, like, some additional guilt or regret. I don't want to, like, create regret for you. And if things don't turn out that way, like, if you do just, like, if your emotions catch you by surprise and you kind of have this, like, meltdown moment, fine. Like, it's not the end of the world. Oops. Okay, so I got these. So the first one is take responsibility. Life happens. How you relate to it is up to you. And then the other one I got for you is loosen your grip. You can't control everything, so you might as well let go, and then let go of letting go, and then let go of that too. So yeah, I mean, taking responsibility, that's literally everything I've been fucking talking about, I'm pretty sure. But again, taking responsibility for your own benefit, not for theirs, but because I think when we're not feeling weakened by our own out of control state, then we're just happier because we feel not like, it sucks to be controlled by external things, but it also sucks to be controlled by our own shit. And then loosen your grip. So, I mean, with this tower falling, again, this does feel kind of like an end of something. So that could be a relationship, that could be a work situation. And it doesn't even necessarily mean, I think, it could just be the end of like a way of relating. Like, if it's a family member, we're probably never going to not be family, and we're always going to relate to one another, but our relationships, even with our family, can change. So it's kind of like that. It's like letting go of, I guess, letting go of kind of the need. What am I trying to say? Like, letting go perhaps of maybe the status quo that we've been kind of abiding by, accepting that things need to change. So take this as you will, however this resonates with you, whatever you need to let go of. Maybe you know more than I do, but I think like the pertinent thing is to take responsibility and how you relate. And that doesn't mean, to me, relate, like how you relate doesn't mean like suddenly you're like, oh, this person I disagree with might have a point. It's not like that. It's like, how do I relate to this person being wrong? How do I take responsibility for my own emotions so I can communicate what I need, my boundaries, my sense of well-being, so I can get this justice and allow for this transformation, this change, this kind of like crumbling of status quo that wasn't serving me or my situation, and to do it in such a way where I'm aware of how powerful my emotions are. That's your reading, and I hope it resonates with you. If it did, then please like and subscribe. I think that next month in December might be my last month doing general readings for everyone, and then from there I might in 2020 just do weekly tarot card things. But if you have any opinions on that for whatever reason, let me know. And I'm also offering personal readings, and my style of personal reading is very much about like having a conversation over the cards and talking about the specifics of what's going on with you, because I don't necessarily want to predict and control what's going to happen, because that's the opposite of vulnerability, as Brene Brown says, and also you're the captain of your ship and your destiny, so you're creating your future as you go. But how do we navigate what your soul lessons are, what's coming up for you, what energies are at play, and how that might be impacting like the things around you, and how, you know, the events in your current life are maybe either tests or challenges or patterns, that kind of thing. So let me know, Gemini, and I love you, and I will see you again in December for sure. All right, so yeah, enjoy November. Bye.